You have Revelations chapters 1 and 2 in this perfect environment. Chapter 3 starts, and you have all the Old Testament, and God has all these prophets telling people about this God who loves them, and he's going to send a Messiah to pay for their sin. Jesus comes, dies, pays for sin, rises from the dead, and you have the cross. And God's agent of blessing was the Jewish nation, and they dropped the ball. They reject their king, and so God I'm an old coach, the whistle blows, they get taken out of the game and set on the bench. Not off the team, just on the bench. And God puts in this new team called the church, the supernatural community where the Spirit of God fills regular people like us. And so after the cross, we have this season called the church age. And we have God's Spirit living inside of us. And near the end, Jesus comes and he snatches or takes every living Christian in the church to heaven before everything that happens. Chapter 6 through chapter 20 of Revelation is a period called the Great Tribulation. And there's 3.5 years of peace where one leader, ruler of the earth, deludes people. He's energized by Satan. And then there's 3.5 years of devastation like the world has never known. And then Christ comes and returns. Well, if you had this heart attack, and I had this heart attack, and I'm in heaven, and my wife was on the front row last night with a couple of my grandkids, then I want you to know is that when the rapture happens, Jesus is going to take his church out, and I would be hanging and talking with my wife. I've already met my mom and dad. They both came to Christ later in life. And every Christian would be in heaven now as now the last portion would unfold, and we're going to be aware of some of those last portions. And then what we learn is the bema seat, the verse there, 2 Corinthians 5:10 says, "For we will all appear before the judgment seat of Christ." And that's not for your sin. That's been forgiven. That's for what did you do with your life? Rewards. And then, fast forward, I'm giving you a quick overview. There's a lot that happens between chapter 6 and chapter 19, but let's go all the way over to chapter 19, because this is something that Jesus talked about with his disciples.